I've always needed more out of life, more out of where I was. You know, my parents ran this very controlling house, and so I ran away a lot. By like 16, I was no longer living with my parents, like, at all. I just wanted to fucking skate.
So Mind in the Gap takes 12 years of footage of 3 boys, and they're growing up, and they're dealing with all these things that have to do with family and race and class. And it just shows sort of the real struggle of you know, growing up in the middle of the States.
Say hello to the video live.
So I grew up in this town, and you know, one of the things that I latched onto was this community of skateboarders. And you know, as I got older, I started realizing that the people around me, the people that I had built a family around, they were really struggling. They were having trouble growing up. You know, they were getting addicted to drugs and suffering from depression, and sometimes even worse. So I guess I had a question that I couldn't quite get answered, and it was, you know, how do we grow up into healthy people, into healthy adults, if we didn't have that positive example to necessarily show us as kids? And I started realizing that, you know, skateboarding is great for helping you escape the present, but it cannot help you escape the past or the future. And so, you know, how do we deal with those things? How do we deal with the, you know, like our memories, and how do we deal with, you know, where we're headed?
Are you gonna put me smoking weed in the thing?
With Zach, it was more that he just had a trackable story. I knew I was gonna tell this verite, the cinema verite sort of film, and so you know, when I found out that he was about to become a father, I was like, oh, this is interesting, because you know, Zach, if you meet him, he's not, he doesn't seem quite ready to be a father. So I knew it was gonna be a struggle. I didn't know it was going to be the struggle in the way that it pans out in the film, but I knew it was going to be a struggle.
How are you today? What time is it?
It's like 1.
Oh. Fuck.
Here, the first time I ever sat down with him, he just opened up about his father, about his complex mixed emotions. You know, he basically both hated his father for the way his father treated him, but also loves and misses his father and wishes he had a chance to, you know, have one more conversation with him, because his father, you'll find out later in the film, has passed away.
I got disciplined, and I wasn't able to skate for a while.
How did you get disciplined?
I mean, well, they call it child abuse now, but it's not really child.
And so I saw a younger version of myself there, you know, because most people I talked to who had experienced, you know, unhealthy, maybe traumatic relationships with their parents, they were very dismissive. You know, they would be like, oh yeah, of course I got beat, or, you know, yeah, you know, that's just what you do. But with Kier, he wasn't okay with that. He had really mixed feelings, and so that's who I was as a teenager.
Like, did you ever cry?
Oh, of course. Of course. Like, I mean, wouldn't you?
I did cry.
I feel like everybody cried.
I think what happens when you're a child and you experience trauma or pain, you develop defense mechanisms. And my defense mechanism was just not remembering, blocking things out. So when I try to think back to my childhood, it's like I can't remember anything. It's just like this black hole. So part of what making this film did for me was to help both me and the 2 participants of the film, you know, start to put together our past again so that we can feel like whole people. I think ultimately that helps us move forward.